Oh, howdy all, grab yourselves a beer, it is time for some Path of Exile discussion. Today, I want to talk about one of the new skills that's coming out in 3.10, Delirium League, which is Blade Blast. This was demonstrated today, and what I want to do is go through GGG's teaser video, but it's a bit difficult to take in at full speed. So I've set it to 25% of normal speed. I'm going to play it and pause it and go through and give a bit of a thought as to what it's doing. So firstly, let's just demonstrate the skill itself. The first cast is a skill. You'll see it around here. And the second time, this guy's going to cast Bladefall. And then is going to cast Blade Blast again. You'll notice there that there's been a single detonation, and then there's going to be a chain reaction that's going to happen now. That chain reaction has come from blades that were left behind by the Bladefall. So let's just go back to where the Bladefall is being cast, and you'll see that the Bladefall is cast. And it's not particularly visible, but there's 1, 2, 3 blades left behind, and then boom, they all get detonated. Now, the way that I see this skill, it's almost like a herald for physical skills. It's not a traditional herald in the sense that it's not automatically casting. What it does is it causes your physical spell skills to have some additional effect that allows them to be better at clear speed. So you've seen here with the killing of this trash pack that the Blade Blast mopped up the monsters after the Bladefall failed to kill them. Now we're going to keep watching and we'll see some more. This is Blade Blast. Now here we've got someone who's using a Blade Blast totem. So this is a spell totem support attached to Blade Blast, potentially with other supports as well to add to more damage. We don't really know all the details as yet. They're going to cast Bladefall, and then the totem is going to cause the detonations. So keep watching. There's the Bladefall, and there's the original detonation, and a chain reaction as all the extra blades detonate. And you can see that there's a really juicy explosion going off. Here's the totem again, and the Bladefall, and kaboom, boom, 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 boom. Stuff goes boom, and everything looks good. Everything looks crazy on the screen. Here's Ethereal Knives. So, firstly dealing physical damage with Ethereal Knives, a physical damage spell, and then Blade Blast is causing the blades stuck in enemies and the ones that have been stuck in the ground to detonate as well. I have no idea how long a blade is going to last after you throw it. We'll have to find that out through play, but it's probably not going to matter that much. Now what we've got here is something interesting. I want to re-show this. Have a look at the explosions that are going off. This is Herald of Ice being used in conjunction with Ethereal Knives and Blade Blast. The theme of this video that GGG put up is that they're showcasing the skills as they're likely to be used by actual endgame players. So, you'll see there's all of these cold detonations going off as well. This player is getting some additional cold damage from somewhere. It could be from the Hatred Aura, it could be from any of a number of different things. And then that's causing all their physical skills, both the Ethereal Knives and also the Blade Blast, to inflict freezes and detonate their Herald of Ice. Blade Vortex has a really interesting interaction here. Now, what Blade Vortex does, normally you charge up Blade Vortex by casting the spell, and the more times that you cast it, so it can have up to 10 stacks, and the more times that you cast it, the faster it hits, the more damage it deals per hit. However, what Blade Blast lets you do, its interaction with Blade Vortex, is that it detonates every single charge you've got at once. So you sacrifice the future capability of dealing damage from your Blade Vortex in exchange to get one burst of damage right now. And that burst of damage is quite big. Additionally, when you do detonate your Blade Blast and blow up the vortex that you've got surrounding you, you're then able to immediately recast your Blade Vortex if you so desire, and you'll see Unleash support used to very good effect here. So this player is going to go and set off their Blade Blast. They consume all of the Blade Vortexes that are surrounding them to deal devastating damage to these 5 monsters. And here it is again. This time it's on an Elementalist. And you'll see they're using Herald of Ash there, which is a commonly used herald in conjunction with Blade Vortex because it grants additional percentage of physical damage added as fire. And here, when they come to a tougher monster, They detonate it to get this massive explosion that deals physical damage to everything around. Immediately jumps back up to 4, and now they're manually casting again. And that's because they used Unleash support to turbocharge getting back the first 4 charges after their Blade Vortex was detonated. Here I think what we're seeing is a player that is using a 6-linked Blade Blast skill in conjunction with a 4-linked Blade Vortex that has Unleash on it. Blade Vortex isn't the real damage skill. The real damage skill here is Blade Blast. They're having no trouble at all waltzing through this Forge of the Phoenix map. Instantly back to 4, slowly up to 5, 6, 7, and kaboom. I know they decide they don't need to kaboom it there. Now here we have Bladefall with Animate Weapon. This is a completely new interaction. Both of these skills are in the game at the moment. Bladefall is the physical damage spell that you saw there. It's essentially a mechanically and numerically inferior version of Firestorm at the moment. Who knows where it will be after 3.10. But basically it does the same thing Firestorm does, it just does it worse in pretty much every way. However, it's going to leave behind some crap on the ground that can be animated with Animate Weapon, which is an absolute godsend. It's going to mean that Animate Weapon is much better than it is at the moment. So here they're casting Animate Weapon, targeting the blades that were left behind by their Bladefall spell. Essentially this is like using Desecrate to create corpses in order to cast Raise Zombie or Summon or anything like Summon Spectre or anything like that. The animated weapons then go and make mincemeat of these Earth Elementals. And here we've got more demonstrations of the same skill combination. I'm going to actually jump it forward, so jump it up to 50% because there's nothing really new to see for the rest of the video, but this is definitely worth watching. One warning I will give you if you do watch this at home is make sure you turn the sound on the YouTube video down. The sounds sound absolutely awful when you watch a YouTube video at 25%. Anyways, I'm quite interested in seeing how these skills play in the real world. They seem very interesting. Blade Blast certainly seems like it's adding new life to Blade Vortex, which I've played Blade Vortex in the past. It's a solid skill. It works well, but it just doesn't feel all that enjoyable to play, at least in my opinion. Your mileage may vary on that. Whereas this is going to give you new additional things to do. It's going to give you an active option that you can use when you want to deal damage to a monster at a distance. Additionally, Blade Vortex will be detonated by it, but your Vaal Blade Vortex, should you have one active, it will not be detonated by Blade Blast, which means that you can safely use Blade Blast in conjunction with Vaal Blade Vortex, confident that these two skills won't get on each other's toes. And because Vaal Blade Vortex is one of the most powerful Vaal skills, this will be a really useful ability. Really useful feature of Blade Blast. Additionally, Ethereal Knives hasn't quite been strong enough for a while, but it has been good in the past, and it has a bunch of really interesting things you can do with it. For instance, there's a Threshold Jewel that causes Ethereal Knives to fire out in a Nova. That is going to provide more options in conjunction with Blade Blast. You can certainly give that a try. And Bladefall has been in a terrible state since the nerfs that it suffered at the end of Parandus League. The nerfs weren't specifically to the Bladefall skill itself, but they were to its interactions with poison and mines, which were the thing that made it so powerful back then. It was super meta for about 3 leagues, and then after that, it's pretty much never been used again. I'll be interested to see if these changes make Bladefall into a popular skill in the future. Lastly, maybe there's some space for some sort of build that triggers Blade Blast, perhaps through the use of a skill of a weapon like Poet's Pen, so that mostly is a build that's based around, say, Blade Vortex, but that uses a Poet's Pen to detonate all of those blades when it needs an additional burst of damage. That may be an option as well. Anyways, we're going to have to see numbers, hard numbers on Blade Blast to make decisions on how it goes in practice, but I'm looking forward to testing out this skill and theory crafting around it. Ethereal Knives is almost good enough as it is. Blade Vortex is certainly good enough, even if I don't really enjoy playing it. And Bladefall just needs numerical tweaks, particularly in speed of applying damage. Needs to the 3 rains that it causes to fall down need to happen close to each other. If that happens, then all of these will be good skills in the future. Anyways, going to leave it there. If you've got any comments or questions, fire away below.